Blue Beetle is generic but still a fun ride from start to finish, which actually surprised me. And that's what we're going to talk about more in this review of Blue Beetle from DC. Let me dive in right away by talking about that word generic. I honestly feel like this is a mishmash of different inspirations and types of superhero films. It's a bit stereotypical, a bit tropish, a bit too familiar. Like kumuha sila na iba-ibang elements that are very resemblant from Marvel films actually. Spider-Man and Iron Man and even Venom. To be honest, if you look at it in that sense, in that light, it does have a lot of similarities to Marvel films. But what I feel like this film accomplishes is in the world of DC, sobrang specific nito, sobrang unique nito, that we haven't gotten anything like this in this particular franchise, which is actually refreshing. It's actually one of those films that I actually enjoyed pretty much. There's an emotional quality to this and a nice treatment of highlighting Hispanic culture. So let's first talk about the emotional quality. And this is actually, I think, a means of attributing this to how well they set up the entire story. So there's a point in this film that actually got me tearing up, which was surprising because I don't necessarily tear up during a DC film except for this film. And again, dahil sa setup yun, dahil sobrang ganda ng, it took its time and there's a nice way of really establishing that this is a family-centric movie. Yes, you get the main character, you get Blue Beetle, pero at the heart and core of this movie is a story about family. The moments that really hit hard kasi nga na-establish siya really well. And that's what I like about this. There is that nice family aspect to this movie that you really would want to follow throughout the entire movie. It's a collective effort, in my opinion, that made this film successful. The parts that were hitting hard towards the last act of the film were really well done. There are efforts in making comedic moments.
You finished scraping the gum off that lounger or what?
But I don't necessarily feel like they were the best. They didn't really generate all that much laughter, in my opinion. As a whole, the family in itself is very lovable, relatable. And again, what I was saying a while ago, there is that nice treatment in at the forefront Hispanic culture, which was seen through their dialogue, which was seen through various moments, even in their struggles, even in the things that they were talking about throughout the entire film. There is that nice way of communicating this, which is something that isn't really well done most of the time. Parang sometimes kasi it's more of just inclusivity or allowing people to have that relatability, especially if you are in that specific culture or group of people or demographic. Pero dito I felt like anyone watching would be somewhat able to relate. For some reason, there were some words or phrases in Tagalog. Hindi ko alam paano nasingit yun. I actually have to rewatch to see how that was done and why. Blue Beetle for me is very surprising in that light because I didn't expect much out of it, but it's actually up there when it comes to DC films. One of the better films I've seen in a while, and actually looking at the list of DC movies, it's pretty surprising. It's the most shocking movie in that regard kasi nga hindi ko in-expect na magiging maganda siya as it turned out to be. Now, there were some inconsistencies though when it comes to the visual treatment. There were moments that it felt like subpar and low budgeted. Like, where did that come from? Like, the gum scene towards the end was somewhat weird for me. But there were also moments that really shined. So yun nga, medyo inconsistent lang siya. I give this a solid 8 out of 10. Again, this may not be the very best that DC has to offer, but it's pretty surprising enough and pretty fun enough to watch. Now, the future of this is uncertain. I don't think it's included in James Gunn's vision for the new DCEU or universe. Even the post-credit scene, or mid-credit scene rather, that I saw was a bit safe. So basically that scene was safe, but that's not something I feel like was consistent throughout the entire movie. I feel like this was a movie that took risks and actually delivered on them. That's pretty much it for this review. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to always make every day into an adventure. God bless, guys, and peace.